Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I want to start with this. Many of you have not seen this. There's AI is the big thing now. That Cerberus Systems is one of the AI companies that's in the Link to tournament, and it's up today, the 2024 bracket. So far, Kraken, Epic Games, Circle, Anthropic, Ripple, and Deal have advanced. Today we're going to find out which of these advance. You got to see this. This is a short interview with the CEO of Cerberus Systems.
What Cerberus is trying to do. I have the CEO here to tell me more about it, and he's showcasing his new products. Only on Taking Stock.
We have released our third generation wafer scale engine. And this is, I brought one for you here. This is what it is. Wow. This is the largest chip in the history of the computer industry.
Wow.
This is a 4 trillion transistor part. The largest other chip is about 80 billion transistors. So most chips are the size of a postage stamp. And as you guys can see, this is the size of a dinner plate. And the advantage is this enables us to do AI work hundreds of times faster than any alternative product.
Oh, okay, so that's what sets it apart from what's currently available on the market right now.
Exactly right. For AI work, bigger chips process more information, producing answers more quickly. And so these chips go into systems that we build, and we tie those systems together into supercomputers.
And you also announced major customers in the healthcare space, including GlaxoSmithKline, AstraZeneca, most recently the Mayo Clinic. Tell me about these partnerships.
The healthcare industry is more than 14%, I believe, of GDP. It's a huge part of our economy. And the ability to deliver more efficient healthcare, starting from the drugs we have in the pipeline.
I think you get the picture. The largest chips ever made. It's on the platform this morning on Link to my sponsor. He was making the point that he didn't like to invest in technology because technology moves so fast and it's too hard to find out who the winners and losers would be. And so he would invest in, and he was making a good point for him now, since he's already wealthy, for people like me. The way I've always viewed technology is these kind of bets are the route to getting wealthy. Now, once you're wealthy, that's when anybody like me would diversify. But all you can do, you gotta get lucky at least once. Luck combined with doing a lot of research and all the different stuff. And so that's kind of the way I've always seen this game. But with regard to Bitcoin, it reminds me of what Warren Buffett said back then. Here's a reasonable guy, this Dave Ramsey guy. And remember, just the other day, what does Brad Garlinghouse point to the second that XRP surges because of Bitcoin surging and all of that, which we're assuming that's why? What does he go right back to? As someone who's experienced multiple cycles of cryptos back, it's imperative this bullishness go hand in hand with real world utility. That's the real and inevitable march of progress. Brad Garlinghouse, I can't tell you how many times he said real utility is the holy grail. Everything else is speculation.
Question comes from Jason in Connecticut. Who's also not evolved. Can we start treating Bitcoin the same way you would treat single stocks? Crud, son. I understand you're not a fan. No kidding. Where'd you figure that out? But an asset with $1 trillion market cap is not a beanie baby. No, but it's still thin air. Ask people like Warren Buffett, who says if he doubled the amount he had put in Bitcoin, he would still have zero because that's the amount he's put in Bitcoin. I'm going with Warren on this one. Not saying you have to add it to your portfolio, but it's a good enough asset to invest 5%.
I stand in the same place I've stood for a long time, and that is, I think they're going to allow Bitcoin to live, but I know they could kill it if they wanted to. And I know that this thing was born of the government, and I think that they're using it right now to fuel, to herd the population into this system. And for that reason, I own a Bitcoin and a half myself. In my iTrustCapital IRA, by the way, which, for those of you that don't, I actually talked to some of the iTrustCapital guys yesterday, and let me tell you what, this company is the most, you talking about a company that's flown under the radar. This company's massive, folks. This is like the biggest crypto IRA company in the world. Okay, but anyway, I love iTrustCapital. And by the way, if you wanted to get an iTrustCapital account, I've got accounts over there. You can, even if you like left a job or whatever, you can roll over an old 401k into an iTrustCapital IRA. The link to all that, plus I think you get $100 for opening an account. It's in my description. Okay, next, let's go to this. ETHGATE Crypto and XRP. The White Flame. Sounds ominous, mysterious. Let's get down to here. He says, no, right here. I've talked about this range that is most critical zone in history of XRP, since it will be the gateway for double-digit XRP. That's 75 to 85 cents. Psychological zone, 93 cents to $1. The $1 mark is a real psychological zone. Stay steady. Our patience will be rewarded. Then I saw Charles Hoskinson talking about this yesterday, speaking of AI. This is 2025 crypto and AI predictions. Listen to what he says.
It makes me sad, though, because 2025, in addition to being the largest bull market we're likely to see, is also going to be the largest set of scams we've ever seen in the history of the space. I'm making a video. I'm talking to you. This is the real Charles Hoskinson. Within 12 months to 24 months, multimodal AI with large language models will grow to the extent that somebody's going to make a video that looks like this.
Somebody's going to use some of those Cerebrus chips to do this.
My voice, my face looks real, and it's AI created. And what I'm saying can be anything the AI makes me want to say. Some people will use this for fun and make me talk about purple leprechauns with yellow hats. Other people are going to use this to say I'm giving away money, or you should invest in something, or that you should trust something, or that I've resigned from some position to manipulate the market. They'll even do dark and twisted things, like say I have cancer, or I'm going to prison, or something like that. Why? Because they want to short sell the market and create a disruption. And they know as a public figure, a small window of time can create cascading problems and consequences. And even after the record's been corrected, the damage is already done. The value's already been stolen. They're going to do this across the board with every public figure in the cryptocurrency space using generative AI. Vitalik Buterin, Brad Garlinghouse, every single figure down the board, they're going to impersonate and attempt to steal money, and some people are going to fall for it.
Yep. Now, this is interesting because this account right here said we were given the timeline years ago. Does no one remember? If you go to my profile and search 2025, so he's basically saying what Charles Hoskinson said, that 2025 was significant. And if you look back, this is from May 2022. Once the transition has taken place, they will all sound like me and will claim they've been saying it all along. I will then fade away on Twitter with a smile. This handle will speak for itself, da-da-da. And then he's got that quote from Charles Hoskinson. According to BIS reports, an available timeline 2025 was always the mature phase, the end date. You are likely correct in your assumption. Perceived problems in the legacy system, it appears, will be addressed individually, allowing for targeted testing in live environments. I've yet to see, basically says, myself included, but as we have stated, this is from 2022, previously the World Economic Forum projects 2025. Now, it wasn't just that. Anybody remember the Everest document? 2025, so 2020 to 2025, blockchain solutions for capital markets and trade finance emerge. R3 Corda, DAH Fabric, ILP Java becomes the interoperability standard for Hyperledger Foundation projects. Then 2025 to 2030, blockchains and distributed ledger solutions mature, and all asset exchange networks become interoperable with interledger protocol. So there is that. Look at this from Tom Emmer. If you don't think the Fed is pursuing a CBDC, think again. The Fed gave this to my staff during a presentation earlier this Congress. They view a CBDC as one of their key duties of the Fed: payment systems, currency, check collection, automated clearinghouse, wholesale payments, FedWire Fund Service, FedWire Security Service, fiscal agent of the U.S. government, FedNow, central bank digital currency. That's one of their key duties, is to have a central bank digital currency. Listen to this one. Demonstration of using XRP Ledger and ISO 20022 messages for payments, clearing up all misconceptions and misunderstandings.
In the ISO 20022 format. But with my new component, we are able to just fetch these online payments from the ledger and transform them into regular ISO 20022 format. And that seemed to work. It creates a special file which we are able to import within the already known process for the user. And just can show, okay, we have received 5 Swiss francs again, and we can continue the 9 regular use process. That means, all in all, we can, from a sender side, send payments within our known process over the XRP ledger, and as a receiver, we can just use the ledger to receive all these payments and transform them into a format which my accounting software already understands.
Cool. Okay, XRP Las Vegas selling out fast. Don't want to forget to tell you, there's only 49 days left, folks. It's coming fast now. And I talked to Brad Combs yesterday, and he said that they had a record weekend coming into the next day, and that they had actually had to talk to the MGM about getting a higher level. It had more space because of the way the tickets were selling. If you've thought about going, you better go ahead and strike. I think I mentioned yesterday, I also talked to a company that said they hadn't even bought their tickets yet. So it's going to really accelerate. I stand by my prediction. We're on March 14th. My prediction is that by the end of March, it'll be sold out. That's my prediction. That's 16 days from now. Okay, I wanted to give Rob Cunningham plenty of a shout out here. Go give Rob a follow at Cool Show, KUWLSHOW. He had Stephen Narioff on, and he had this guy's name is Echo X, I think. Jimmy Valley. He had Zach Rector. Rob Cunningham was running the show, and then he had Chris and Maya from the Fruition Productions, that they're doing the XRP Unleashed documentary. And I clipped out several clips. I'm going to show you the first one here, and I'm going to talk about the other ones in my private group at DAIXRP.com. Listen to this. These things were fire, a lot of them.
New pioneers of the new monetary system are taking this whole operation. So is that a fair summary?
Yeah, that's very fair. And in fact, I'll add one more to that. Joe came to me one day and said, we're going to meet the Federal Reserve. And so this was in late 2014. And I said, why are we meeting with the Federal Reserve? They're like, what's the Federal Reserve? Why are they interested in what we're doing? We met with the Federal Reserve, and it was, a nice, polite meeting. But I let's just say I got the feeling that, when they said, there's if there's somebody at the table, that's the one that's getting cheated, and you don't know who it is, it's you, right? So it's like I wasn't in on it, but it was clear that there was something else going on. At least that's how I felt, and it seems to be correct in hindsight.
That is the first time in all the time that we've been talking about ETHGATE that I've heard that Joseph Lubin and Stephen Narioff met with the Federal Reserve. There's a lot of people that have a lot of explaining to do. I'm going to go into DAIXRP.com, and there's several more clips. I'm going to play at least 2 or 3 of them and talk about them. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family. They're going to want to go watch the whole thing. It's at, if you go to Rob's handle, he's got the video there. It's at Cool Show, Kuwl Show, on X, and you can watch the whole thing. Here we go.